Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about the 2023 show devs, and I want to talk about, I'm sorry, excuse me, the 2020 show devs, and by Alex Garland. And I want to talk about why you and I, as dungeon masters, watch content that contains tropes, all right? All right, let's get into this. So Alex Garland is absolutely brilliant. He created this story, this 2020 story, Devs. It's a television show. I'm sorry, television is a meaningless word. It's a show. It's a small screen show, and it ran on a streamer, right, which was Hulu, and I think it came from FX, right? Origination is almost ludicrous at this point. When it comes to small screen content, it's bought up, it's shoved around, but this show is absolutely brilliant. And Alex Garland, there's a point in it where the main character is a developer by the name of Lily, right? And she writes, and she is in the specific sphere of encryption. And so her boyfriend is murdered after working in this skunkworks called Devs. And what Devs is actually building is a prediction engine, right? And so Lily finds out that her boyfriend was murdered, and then but her boyfriend is murdered, and at that point we see her go to the company that she's working for. It's called Amaya, and she complains to them, is like, I think my boyfriend was murdered, and I know you showed me the footage of him, burning himself to death with a can of gasoline, but I don't think it's real. And so she starts to spiral, and you're like, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is stupid, right? Like, she's supposed to be a super high-end, very smart developer, right? But no one who's smart would ever think that the company she's accusing of wrongdoing would be like, you're right, we did wrong, we murdered him, thanks for complaining to us, right? Like, she's playing right into their hands, right? Well, all of this turns around when we find out that the reason all this is happening is she is setting up with another one of her friends, another female developer, who is siding with her, and they are creating a distraction to steal code, which will help them prove that Amaya actually murdered her Russian coder boyfriend, right? Whose name was Sergey, right? So basically, I'm watching the show and I'm like, oh, stupid trope, right? Like, and the trope is super smart person does the stupid thing because it affords because two reasons. Why do people who are supposed to be smart in a fiction story do stupid things? It happens for two reasons, right? The first reason it happens is smart choices don't lead to compelling narratives, right? Generally, right? And then the second one is lots of smart characters are written by non-smart writers, right? So, and that's the issue. It happens a lot. They're like, this person's super smart, and then they don't do smart things because the writer is not smart, right? But none of that is the case with Alex Garland. He's absolutely brilliant. He's 100% aware of the trope, right? He's above the trope. And that's why that's why I watch content with trope. I watch mainstream content, and I talk about that mainstream content in context to Dungeons & Dragons. And it's reason why you as a dungeon master need to be watching like The Acolyte on Disney Plus, right? You need to know tropes to be above the trope. We need to be aware of the trope and then be able to not execute the trope, but actually transcend the trope, right? You cannot transcend a trope if you're not aware of the trope, right? So that's why we as dungeon masters do not fill all our time watching Shakespeare. Sometimes we watch The Acolyte on Disney Plus, right? Which is going to be filled with tropes, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It means it needs to be understood, right? And going forward, trust and believe, Alex Garland is the guy to watch. That guy is absolutely brilliant. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.